Now for our starting lineups. From Kean University, starting at setter, number 6, David Flores. Outside hitter, number 8, Aiden Flynn. Outside hitter, number 11, Sean Murphy. Outside hitter, number 12, Chris Mitchell. At middle blocker, number 15, Danny Pugliano.
Our coverage of CVC men's volleyball in the first
at middle blocker, number 21, Nick Huzar.
To the Cougars of Kean.
And at libero, number 22,
alongside
Tyler
you,
Quinn.
bring you all the action. Along with me is CC Bands. We're also joined by Mark Duffin later in the broadcast today. CC, good game, two good teams. CVC, always fun to watch.
Yes, this is going to be a good game as both of these teams have, in their previous games, have played some really well opponents. So it'll be exciting to see exactly what they do for each other tonight.
Southern Virginia coming to this game right in the hot hand like they've done the entire year. Unbeaten in conference play, and in fact, unbeaten the entire year. The Southern Virginia Knights, the second best team in the country, according to the ABCA polls. Haven't lost a set all year.
Nope, absolutely not. They're currently, like you said, undefeated. They're 20-0 and 5-0 in conference. And this is, all of these games have been so exciting and so cool to see just how well they've played. And really to see how their opponents have really put up a fight as well, though.
Well, Kean comes into this game 11-9 overall, 2-2 in conference play. Dropped the game against the Juniata College Eagles earlier in the season. Their first matchup against the Knights being today here in Una Vista. And CC, from what I've been told, senior night tonight. This being the last pair of home games that the Southern Virginia men's volleyball team will play here in the barn.
Yeah, tonight we've actually have a doubleheader. So there's this game currently against Kean, and we'll have some of those seniors that will be announced tonight and honored. And then also afterwards, before the next game against Virginia Wesleyan, some of them will be honored as well.
So we're getting the starting lineup for the Southern Virginia Knights. Christo Biankin, he's in the lineup. A set of two good games that we have for today. Cougars of Kean, obviously a conference matchup. The Marlins of Virginia Wesleyan also coming into town. Sam Cameron getting the nod from head coach Tom Peterson.
Arizona, what can Brown do for you? Number 10, Jeremy Brown.
What this men's volleyball team has done this year cannot be understated. One of the best teams in the country. They have just had a pride of winning the entirety of this year. With a lot of seniors, I believe 9 on the roster to help you get it done.
Yeah, that's so true. They have a lot of, they're a strong team, and they're not super duper young. They have all these experienced players. And Mark and I were actually talking a little bit before this game about this, how they've won all of these games, but they've been humble about it. They win these games easy, but, well, easy is the wrong word, but they win them, and really they're giving their best and their all, but they're also just enjoying it while they play.
He is assisted by Cheryl Peterson.
And for the first hit of the afternoon from our sideline reporter, Mark Duffin's here to tell us a little about this game. Mark?
Hello, yes, Chris, thank you so much. This is a very interesting matchup today. Obviously, SVU coming in on a tear with 20 straight games won and 60 straight sets won. Kean University, on the other hand, coming in off a loss from NYU, where they did put up a really good fight. So these two teams very evenly matched, especially on the offensive end. Kean University is a very good offensive team that can go toe-to-toe with teams like NYU and with SVU. The key for SVU is making sure that their defense stands taller and prouder than Kean University for SVU to take the win in the commanding fashion that they've been winning games so far this year. Back to you, Chris.
Well, Mark, thank you so much. We look forward to your insight. The entirety of today's game and the game beyond that. You can see something Mark mentioned, defense being a really important role this Southern Virginia team needs to fill, and they've got the guns to do it. Number 18, Kyler Evans, one I might be pointing out on the stat sheet.
Oh yes, this defense, it will play a huge role, because as long as they've been putting up those fights and they've just really prevent any of those other aces, those other kills coming down, that's what's gonna propel them forward.
These teams get set and ready to go. Southern Virginia is coached by longtime head coach Tom Peterson in his 9th season at the helm of the program. He's assisted by Cheryl Peterson, Gabe Wagner, and volunteer assistant coaches Russell Tompkins and Jeff Tomlinson. Over on the other side for the Cougars of Kean, their head coach Bez Arslani, assisted by Michael Fox, Jenna Laura, Bill Lee, and Leandro Perez. So the Southern Virginia Stars are out there. It is Jimbo Brown, Justin Madsen, Christian Schaefer, Kyler Evans, who we mentioned just a second ago. Garrick Tolman's in the game, as well as Sam Canlett for the Southern Virginia Knights.
If he looks for the ball. Number 10.
In for Kean.
Bad, Jimbo Brown.
Danny Pugliano. Aiden Flynn. At little barrow spot, that's number 22, Tyler Quinn. We are underway. Kean with the first attack. Now Southern Virginia with a chance to respond. Brown. That will hit right into the chest of Sean Murphy.
He came right into that, and he was ready to hammer that right into the floor.
That's a tough look for Sean Murphy. Only a freshman from Belmont, California, and a big hit coming from the senior, Jeremy Jimbo Brown. Southern Virginia still alive. Tolman had it, back to Brown.
Yeah, I think something that's interesting to think about is, especially as today is kind of our senior night, that we're focusing especially on the seniors, is to think about what is going to happen to this team once they leave. Because they take up almost most of the starters, really. And I mean, they take up a lot of these main hitters. But that will just be interesting to see in the future how SVU grows in these next few years as well.
Absolutely. In fact, the only starter that is not a senior is Southern Virginia setter Garrick Tolman, only a sophomore, all the way from Gilbert, Arizona. He sets it up there for Schaefer, and Schaefer down with a kill. Put an assist on the side of the sophomore, Garrick Tolman. That's an excellent point. Where will the Southern Virginia team go after this? We have seen, when we have the chance to see the juniors and the sophomore and the freshmen, they are willing to step up to bat when the opportunity is presented them. So I think the Southern Virginia team is in a good place. Head coach Tom Peterson mentioning that as well. We talked about how this season is kind of the perfect storm. We have 9 seniors, and the team is humming. And obviously that is evident in the stat sheet. That one just off the hand of the freshman Sean Murphy. Another point for the Southern Virginia Knights, 4-1. Back to serve, SVU's number 2, Jaden Hall. Another senior on this squad. Playable by the Cougars. Kill is up and good. That came off the hand of Aiden Flynn.
Back to serve for Kean, number 8, Aiden Flynn.
So Aiden Flynn with the kill, now with the nod on the service. A junior from East Northport, New York. Christo Biankin checked into the game for SVU. Madsen with a dig. Biankin with a kill.
It's always fun to see just like the soft touch where it's like you just see them like warm their arm up, just take it back, and then they just barely hit it over, and the other team's not expecting that. But that's the best part about volleyball, is just seeing how people mix it up and what exactly they'll do.
Back to serve is Tolman. Tolman. Well, that one just wide off the hand of the sophomore. Another point for Kean. A new face checking in for the Cougars as well. That's number 21, Nick Hazar, freshman from Brick, New Jersey. That one wide again, so both teams trading those. 6-3. That's a good kill down from the freshman, Sean Murphy. And something surprising to see is that the Cougars of Kean not afraid to go straight to the hand of Murphy. Done it several times throughout today's game.
Well, yeah, it just shows that they know exactly where they need to put the ball, who they need to give it to, because he's going to get it going. And he's been a key player in a lot of these past games, and he's gotten a lot of kills, and he just knows where to hit the ball to.
Point Knight. Checking in for the Knights, number 15, Kean Max.
Sutton back to serve. Looks like head coach Peterson getting all the seniors a chance. Dig by Schaefer. That one just wide.
That was a great effort right there, just barely saving that. That's so cool to see just how close they get it. They barely like pancake it on the ground and then barely went a little too far over the net.
Murphy back to serve. Schaefer not able to get the dig there, but Schaefer has really been an impact player this entire year for the Southern Virginia Knights. And with some more words on impact players, we're going to toss it back down to Mark Duffin, talking about some of the players to watch during this game.
Yes, thank you, Chris. Obviously for SVU, many stars on the SVU side, ranging from Christian Safer to Jeremy Brown. But looking at Kean University, a team we're unfamiliar with here at SVU, they have some impact players as well. Number 12, Chris Mitchell, is the big one to look for on the offensive end. He's 31st in points per set in the entire nation of Division III men's volleyball. On an effective scorer, plays very well. Additionally, Danny Pugliano, number 15 there in the blue, is a very efficient scorer, ranking 22nd in hitting percentage. So those are the two main ones to look out for on the offensive end for the SVU side. Additionally, for SVU attacking, number 21, Nick Hazer. He averages over half a block per set. It's 12th in the Continental Volleyball Conference. A very tall presence up there. You can see him on your screen right now in the middle. Those are the three main players to look out for if you're SVU. Need to defend and attack precisely to avoid those players. Back to you, Chris.
Point Knights.
Well, thank you, Mark. CC, always good stuff coming from Mark Duffin. Gave us a couple players to watch there. Southern Virginia with a handful, but we'll see what some of the Cougars of Kean have in store right now.
No, yeah, we always appreciate hearing all that information. And I mean, it's interesting to hear all of these all these stats that we can get, and really to hear how all these players on these other teams that maybe we don't know as well, how they've impacted their team and their team's history.
10-7 is the score. Southern Virginia Knights leading. Back to serve is Kean. That came off the hands of David Flores, junior from Parlin, New Jersey, and that one just put back down by Aiden Flynn.
Yeah, I think right there was just a little bit of a miscommunication. All those players, they just saw that. There's a little bit of that going back and forth, that volley going, and then it just went straight down. They all kind of just looked at each other, and they're like, oh, guess that was a whoops.
Nifty play on the side of Kean. Not much more you can say about that one. Kyler Evans with a statement. Now he'll head to the bench to get some well-needed rest.
He hit that straight down. Holy crap, just putting that right into the ground.
And that's something all visiting coaches have told us before every single game is that Southern Virginia has the arms to get it done on the offensive side. No better exemplar of that than Kyler Evans. And maybe we'll get to see Evans back into the game. That will. Evans checks in, goes immediately back out. In comes Justin Madsen. Justin Madsen, the reigning CVC Libero of the Year. One of only two Southern Virginia Knights to win that honor, the other being Daniel Aina, way back in 2017. That one's blocked back down.
Mitchell with the block.
That was some really great defense there from Kean. They know that Christian Schaefer, that he's one of the big hitters on this team. They knew exactly that we're just going to put him straight up, and they're going to come right back into the ground.
And that was one of Mark's players to watch. That was Chris Mitchell getting it done on the defensive side. Just off the hand of Schaefer, and it's tied up 11-11, just like that. Kean's back into this game.
Yeah, I think the Knights, they're going to take a second, for themselves and just kind of think, okay, we're going to get our heads back in the game. We're just having a few little moments, but I think they're going to be just fine.
That one goes wide, so Kean can't take the lead over top of SVU. 12-11, Garrick Tolman back to serve. Tolman, that one's playable. Brown had it. Point goes to SVU. We'll say there was a Cougar in the net, 13-11.
Garrick to serve.
Tolman back to serve, 13-11. Southern Virginia looking to build upon its lead. Kean looking to get back in it. Miss hit there. It looked like they were looking for Danny Pugliano. And that'll force a timeout on the side of Coach Bez Arslani. Well, CC 14-11. We saw Kean get right back into it, tied up 11 apiece. Southern Virginia starting to pull away, but how about this Cougar this Cougar team we've seen today.
No, they've been putting up a fight. And they've been, I mean, we shouldn't expect anything less. They've also been playing against some really, really strong opponents. As last week they played against NYU, as Mark was saying, which is currently ranked #1 in the country. But they gave up a fight, and even now, like, we can just see that it doesn't matter who they're playing, they're going to give their best game.
CVC Conference, one of the best conferences in NCAA Division III men's volleyball. You mentioned just the quality of opponent that the Cougars have played this year. Took on number 4 Stevens, weren't able to get that one. Took a set over number 13 Nichols College. That was way back in January. Played number 9 and number 6 Vassar and Wentworth Institute of Technology. And of course, you mentioned that game against NYU, #1 ranked team in the country. This has been quite a stretch for the Cougars of Kean. #1 NYU a couple days ago, #2 Southern Virginia today, both away games.
Yeah, I think that just really shows, even if they didn't win, that they are able to play against these teams that are going to put up a really strong battle. And I mean that it strengthens your team, it helps them get better.
And this is a Kean team that has always been a thorn in the side of CVC squads. I can remember long ago, way back in the land of 2018, where Southern Virginia won its first CVC title. Kean, one of the best teams in that conference, one of the best teams nationally that year as well. That one just came off the hand of Sean Murphy. Another point for the Southern Virginia Knights, make it 15-11. Maybe CC, maybe we're reading too much into this as Southern Virginia fans, that we are. Sorry to spoil it at home for those of us that didn't believe us. But Southern Virginia, only team above them in the national rankings right now, NYU. The only team to beat Southern Virginia in the past 365 days, NYU.
Yeah, I think sometimes we're just sitting here, we're like, hey, how can we change this? What can they do? But I think it's something, it is kind of a start. SVU fans coming out.
Pugliano to serve.
This is a big chance for SVU to prove themselves against a common opponent of NYU, that being the Cougars of Kean. And how about opportunity for Kean? Take on #1 and #2. Sky's the limit if you're head coach Ben Arslani and the Cougars of Kean. That one's blocked back down, still alive. Tolman looks all the way across to Schaefer. Schaefer makes something of it. That he does.
That was some great ball movement there on both of these teams. I mean, the Kean Cougars getting a bunch of those blocks, but also hitting them right back over, and your Knights keeping the ball going and just getting back to each other, and just, that was a great play right there.
17-12, Christian Schaefer behind the line. Good serve, playable, however, by Kean. Tolman, Madsen over to Brown. Brown with a left hand.
Looks like he snuck that through right between all those 4 hands all together, just right in that spot down the middle. That was a great little hit right there.
Schaefer back to serve again. One of the best in the country for behind the line. That one just a little bit too long.
Side out to the Cougars.
18-13 is the score. Back to serve, Chris Mitchell, junior from Howell, New Jersey. Mitchell's serve is playable. Brown to Tolman. Bianca got a big arm on it. Still alive for Kean. Dig by Canlin. That one's popped back down.
I think some of those were some of the players on SVU were looking for kind of like a, I don't know what exactly you would call it, but kind of just a force down of the ball, kind of not necessarily a carry, but looking for something that looked like it wasn't quite legal in volleyball, but they ruled it as it was a point for the Cougars.
Czar looking for a second straight, couldn't get it there. Brown blocked down, but out of bounds. Point goes to the Knights. We'll see Madsen and Bianchi get checked out.
Kean K9, Maxim Sutton.
Maxim Sutton checks in, and he'll be behind the line to serve. Kyler Evans also making his way into the game. Some minor housekeeping on the side of the officials. Southern Virginia squad on the floor right now is Canlin, Brown, Evans, Tolman, Schaefer, and Sutton.
We've seen this lineup multiple times in so many of these SVU games. We know that there's so much talent on this team. and they know how to work well with each other, but they also really know what their strengths for each individual player are. And that's something how you know they have a good team chemistry with each other.
We have Brown to Tolman. That one goes to Canlon. Perfect setup, perfect execution by Sam Canlon.
I don't know about you, but from here it looked like he was kind of floating in the air.
Well, Sam Canlon is one of those players, one of the best outside hitters in the country, statistically and just by the eye test. And it seems like he has the best hitting percentage on this squad at this time. When he gets the opportunity, more than likely going to bury it. Trying to keep it alive is Kane. That one just came off the ceiling and back down. Confused the Cougars just a little bit.
Timeout, Kane.
Welcome to the barn chants. Persist, timeout, Kane. So, Southern Virginia 20, Kane 15, the barn of SVU 1.
That's something that we always joke about, is the barn is the other opponent that always plays. Because the ceiling's a little lower and people aren't really used to that. So they come here and they realize that there's another hitter in the gym.
A little bit low, something teams have to deal with. Even the Southern Virginia Knights have to deal with day in and day out. Does lead to some interesting spots of the ball as the game goes along. If it plays a big dividend, we will of course break down exactly why that happened and what the call was on the floor. 21-15, Southern Virginia leading. We talked about the last couple of games for the Cougars of Kean. Last couple games for Southern Virginia. Been more perfection come from the side of the Knights. We last saw them at home March 8th on a Saturday against St. Andrews. They then traveled to face off what probably is the biggest game of the year in terms of CVC volleyball. Number 2 in the country, Southern Virginia, taking on then number 5 in the country, Juniata College. Southern Virginia, however, swept them 3-0.
Yeah, I just remember when we were sitting here and we were talking a lot about what this game was going to be a few weeks ago, and that's a pleasant surprise. Not necessarily a surprise, but it's something that we're glad to see, that they performed well and that they also swept them, that they still have not lost a set yet.
Southern Virginia hasn't lost a set this year. And in fact, if you do the math, the last 2 years, Southern Virginia's only dropped, I think it's 5 sets throughout the entire full seasons of this year in last year. 3 of course, being to NYU in the first round of the NCAA tournament last year. 21-16 in that road trip for SVU. Again, they took on Juniata College, number 5 in the nation. Took on Elizabethtown College, CVC rival up there in Elizabethtown, PA. And then they took on number 16 in the country, Misericordia University, also sweeping them 3-0. That game was March 15th, Saturday at 2 o'clock p.m.
Yeah, it's just as you were speaking, as you were explaining all those things, I was just looking at their schedule from last year. They lost 6 sets the entire season. That's still really, really good.
Lost 6, I said 5. That was 1
I'm
off.
sorry.
That's okay. Appreciate you and Marco is keeping me honest here in this 24-16. And now the score and set point for SVU. Jimbo Brown back to serve. Kane will want to do everything in his power to keep this alive. Brown, playable by the Cougars. That one came off the ceiling. What a fitting way for that one to end. Jimbo Brown goes down as an ace. Set number 1 belongs to the Knights. Well, Southern Virginia takes set number 1. We now go to set number 2. But before we take our break, we're going to toss it down to Mark Duffin, give some insights on this game.
Hi, yes, thank you, Chris. During that last time out before the end of the set, I was able to ask Coach Peterson a quick question. In between the 2 timeouts, they went on a pretty good run, SVU taking control and ending up winning that set. I asked what sparked that in between the 2 timeouts, and he said, when we serve, we take them out of their system, and we looked more comfortable serving coming out of that timeout. And this is backed up. I mean, before that timeout, SVU had 5 service errors and only 1 service ace. But then to finish out that match, they had 2 more service aces and only 3 more service errors. So definitely looking more comfortable, and it's coming through Coach Peterson and what he's seeing in this game. So we'll definitely look to see if the Knights serving can keep up in the way that Coach Peterson wants it to. Back to you, Chris.
Yes, thank you. And we will take a break real quick as we wait for the second set, and we hope you come back to join us for that.
Welcome back to the Bars. Our coverage of CVZ men's volleyball continues. First of all, CC Bands and Mark Deffern here to bring you all the action today. CC Southern Virginia off to a start. We're very accustomed to seeing them to up 1-0. This time over top of CVC foe, the Cougars of Kean.
Yeah, this first set was a really good set. Both of these teams were putting a good battle up against each other, and it's really cool to see exactly how Kean they're coming at the Knights. They're getting good hits, and they even had a run where they were tied at one point at 11 points apiece. And so this has been an exciting game to be able to see.
Exciting game, that's for sure. We go to set number 2. Things all tied up, 0-0. Back to get things started. That's David Flores, a junior from Parlin, New Jersey, playing at Old Bridge High School. Southern Virginia's first attack. Tolman met at the summit. Get a second time. That one falls in for Garrett Tolman.
Point Knights.
Yeah, they had a lot of arm and hand action going there where both of their arms were on the ball at that one point, both hitting them. It was really just to see who's going to be stronger in that point, where the ball's going to go.
Manson got a hand on it, still alive for SVU. Tolman to get it over. Here comes Kane. That's another big, that time Canlon. Schaefer, that one into the net.
Point Kean.
That was a really good hustle there and really good effort to see. We see these a lot. We see a lot of kind of moments like this in night volleyball games where we see if a ball kind of goes a little bit astray, but they get there, they run fast, they hustle over, and they get that save.
Play stop for just a second as Kean head coach Bez Arslani having a talk over with the officiating crew. It looks like there might be just a little bit of blood. Get things stopped. Again, that was brought to the attention of the staff here by Kean head coach Bez Arslani, who our own Mark Duffin had a chance to talk to during the break. Mark, what does coach have to say?
Yes, I got the opportunity to talk to Coach Arslani during the break, and he sounded off on a note of optimism for his team. He said that we played good volleyball there in that first set. SU just made better plays down the stretch, and so he said to his team, we need to keep our serves in and just keep swinging away. And right there, just on that point here in the second set, we saw how the power of Kean University was able to force the Knights into some mistakes. So Coach Arslani definitely looking at this game as winnable and looking to get back into it here in the second set with great plays from his team. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Mark. Yeah, that's definitely something that we've been able to see is none of these players, none of them are looking super down. And I mean, you can see just the energy in their coach. He's just like pushing them to keep going, and he's like, hey guys, this is a game we can keep going. That was just the first set. There's more to go.
Coach Arslani was prompted to be head coach way back in September of 2022. Served as an assistant coach and acting head coach during the 2022 season. Took the full-time gig and hasn't looked back since then. Play is still stopped. Some blood coming from Kean. Aiden Flynn. Aiden Flynn appears to be okay. As you see, with this being Southern Virginia Senior Night, again, it's going to be half of the seniors talked about in this game, half of them talked about the next game. We see some signs here in the stands. Some family members making a long trip to Buena Vista to cheer on their Knights.
Yeah, this has been so exciting to see. There's signs for Kyler Evans, for Sam Canlin, and we can see there's so many players, there's so many people here that you can just tell that they're supporting so many of these players with their posters, and it just shows the love that they all have here and the support that they have for these players.
Serving the ball now, that's Tyler Iazzi. Tolman working hard to keep that one alive. That one's blocked down. That was Chris Mitchell.
That was a great defensive play they had there. They knew exactly where they needed to have their hands be and exactly how they needed to block that.
Iazzi serve goes to Tolman. Schaefer.
Smooth. Christian Schaefer.
Slow start for the Southern Virginia Knights here in the start of the second, but
checking in for the Knights.
Schaefer ties things up, 2 apiece.
Cold Curtis Stone.
Kyler Evans and Justin Madsen check out, and a face we're familiar to seeing here in Buena Vista and around campus is number 14, Curtis Stone, one of the other seniors on this squad.
That's what we love to see is when all of these seniors, they start making these appearances because they're going to keep playing. They're still fighting no matter how old they are, even if it's their last home game. They're all here to make an appearance and to really make an impact on these games.
Well, Curtis Stone, the middle blocker, senior from Gilbert, Arizona. Always fun when he checks into the game. Serve didn't go his way that time, but not the last. We'll see if Curtis Stone, how about that? From the young man, Garrick Tolman getting it done. 3-3, Tolman back behind the line to serve. Look for Mitchell again, and they'll find him.
Mitchell with the kill, point Cougars.
Something that's always interesting to see, especially after we've played a set already or like we've played a few sets, is to see how these teams adjust and what they do to learn what they've done, learning from the other team as they've been playing them. Like we can see with Kean, they've been moving around where they're hitting, and their blocking and their defense has been really good. We can also see with Christian Schaefer on that play a few seconds ago, after he was blocked that one time, he just hit it barely a little further, and it was in the perfect spot.
Schaefer's serve is playable. Here come the Cougars. Still alive for Kean. Call that a double hit.
Point Knights.
Came off the chest of Tyler Iazzi, and then off the hands of Tyler Quinn.
Schaefer to serve.
Well, that one clearly came off the ceiling again, proving difficult for Kean today. Schaefer's big serve, nice dig on the other side by Quinn. Mitchell, that one falls in as Madsen got a hand on it.
Murphy to serve.
Well, so far, Kean's own number 12, Chris Mitchell, being the driving force here in the second set. 3 kills for him on the day, 2 of them here in the early parts of the set.
Point Knights. Cristo to serve.
Head coach Peterson made a change for SVU. Bianchine came in, Madsen came out, as did Kyler Evans. The serve from Bianchine just a little bit wide. We'll see Madsen check back into the game.
McSorley to serve.
Tied up 6 apiece. Back to serve Michael McSorley. Schaefer to Tolman. Look to Canlin. Big left hand playable. Chris Mitchell able to get a hand on it. Mitchell again. And the linesman got a face full of Christian Schaefer, but the point goes to Kean.
Yeah, they had a little bit of a collision there. He had a word with him and just patting his back. He's like, sorry.
Came off of Madsen, and Schaefer was doing everything he could to go get that ball, but unfortunately couldn't get there. 6 apiece. Tolman, Evans, big hit, bigger block. Danny Pugliano.
I think one of the impacts that we can see in these, just in these points in these few minutes of this set, is that Kean's defense, I know I've mentioned this already, but it's really there, and they're just putting their hands up. They're knowing exactly where they're needing to be, and you can see the energy in their coach. He was so excited to see that, how they just got that block and the great plays that they've been having.
Well, that one did the full wraparound. Came off the hand of Canlin up into the ceiling, and up on the other side of the ventilation. Point goes to Canlin and the Knights.
I don't think I've ever seen that happen here.
I don't think I've seen it either, and I've been here quite a while. That one falls in. Kean staying alive here in this second set and thriving under the pressure. 8-7, Kean leads. Flores back to serve. Kean mounting some pressure. Jimbo Brown trying to quell it.
Jimbo Brown.
Just like you said a second ago, Chris, this Kean team, they're thriving under pressure. That's always a test to see when, especially playing the Knights, especially when they have they've already won a set, is to see how they're going to bounce back. But they've been putting up so much of a fight, so much energy still going and going and going in this game.
Kean has rose to the occasion on the defense and offensive side. And Southern Virginia just the last couple of times out, whether it be good Kean defense or just not being able to find their stride on the offensive side, of a couple of attacking errors coming here in the start of the second set. Madsen all the way to Schaefer, soft touch. Point goes to the Knights. Kean was in the net and it's tied up 9 apiece. Let's see something, what we love about sports, at least what I love about sports, you never know what player is going to don the cape at any time. What team is going to come in and show something that maybe they haven't shown the entirety of the year. Kean doing that right now. 9-9. Stone back to serve again. His second try at it. That one short.
No, exactly what you just said. It's seeing what happens and see the games change and see how someone's just going to pull up something great and just really show the greatest part of their potential that they have as a team. And it's always really exciting to see and just kind of to cheer on both of these teams and to see what they both do.
Pugliano's serve is long. It stays tied, 10 apiece. Neither team right now able to get the better of the other in terms of the score. Let's see if Southern Virginia can take the lead for the first time in a long time. Tolman, playable by Kean. Here they come. Look for Mitchell. That one's blocked by Schaefer.
Silky smooth. Christian Schaefer.
Solo block for number 1-1. And the Knights with 11. Tolman back to serve again. This one also playable. Look to the other side. Schaefer. Tolman to Canlin. That one's gone. Sam Canlin puts the Knights up by 2.
There was a lot of power behind that hit. As that ball, it flew even just over our heads coming over. It's so cool to see the strength that all these players have.
Mitchell, that one's wide.
Point Knights.
Southern Virginia out by 3.
Tolman to serve.
Kean will want to put a quell to this.
Timeout, Kean.
Surge by the Southern Virginia Knights. Timeout for the Cougars, 13-10. Well, Kean came on extremely strong here in the start of the second set. Southern Virginia able to stay right there with them. And now, SVU starting to pull ahead, their largest lead here of the second set. Wouldn't you love to be a fly on the wall of that Kean Cougar sideline right now?
No, yes, just to be able to see and hear and experience all of these things from both of these teams, both sides. The energy is high, the excitement. People are kind of on the edge of their seats right now, just waiting to see what's going to happen.
13-10. Just take a look at how the stats have lined up right now. Southern Virginia 38 points, Kean 26, kills heavily in the side of the Southern Virginia Knights, 19-8 so far on today. Total attacks are equal, 31 apiece. It's that hitting percentage where things really start to make its way around. Southern Virginia hitting .419, hitting percentage for Kean 0.32. So SVU has made the most of the opportunities when they have had them, but a lot of those numbers come from that first set where Southern Virginia took that handily. Kean has really turned it around here in the second. Back to serve is Tolman, 13-10. Playable again. Kean got a hand on that one. Look over to Mitchell. Kean, Tolman looks for Canlin, still alive. Iazzi got a hand on it. He'll say there was two hands on the side of Sean Murphy. Just carry that one over. Southern Virginia up by 4.
I'll just say I'm grateful that I'm not an official for a volleyball game or a referee, because I think sometimes it's kind of hard to be able to see what's a set, what's kind of a hit with two hands, to really differentiate what exactly all these hits are. So we always appreciate those officials and the knowledge that they use and their efforts that they're giving.
Well, no doubt about that one for Murphy. Murphy gets a kill on the soft touch from the freshman. Now it's Mitchell back to serve. Chris Mitchell, the hot hand today for the Kean. That one goes in.
Bam! Sam Canlin.
Yeah, Sam Canlin he comes in and he just hits that ball straight down. And it's also exciting, like we've kind of mentioned how it's senior night and there's posters about, I think his family is here and they all have little cutouts of his head that they keep waving up in the air anytime he hits the ball.
Still alive, that one just goes over. Look for Canlin again. 2 in a row for Sam Canlin. And the tiny cutouts of Sam are dancing over there on the far side of the gym. And you're right, that is his family. That's his mom and dad. His brother Paul, sister-in-law Kelly, all made the trip down to Buena Vista to watch Sam on senior night.
That's so exciting. That's so great to see that all the families come down, all the people here to support, and all the fun little cutout heads.
That time, Brown.
Jimbo!
That one was a little bit too close for Jimbo. Brown's locking 17-11. Southern Virginia starting to put their foot down here in set number 2. Schaefer back to serve. Quick serve, that one short. Schaefer tried to catch him off guard. He knows it, little smile on his face as he goes to meet his teammates over there.
Danville back to serve.
Back to serve now for Kean. This is number 17, Roe Danville, sophomore from Orange, New Jersey. 6'1", 155 sophomore. First time we mentioned his name today. Knights on the attack. Look for Kean. They'll call that one wide.
Danville to serve.
Danville. Tolman. Kean again. That's another point for Kean.
Point Kean.
We'll say then that Kean was just in the net. We thought there for a second, as Tolman typically likes to do, go to the well twice when the first one doesn't go down. 2 in a row, 2 misses there, 2 errors on the side of SVU. That time, Schaefer. That one came off a couple hands. Point 18 finally finds its way to SVU, 18-14.
Big country back in the match. Murphy in for the Cougars.
Tyler Evans back into the lineup for head coach Tom Peterson. Kean serve, playable. Oh, that one just came awkwardly off the hands of Tyler Iazzi.
Now, something that I've noticed as we've been sitting here, as the Kean bench is right next to us and as their head coach, as Arslani is just standing in front of us, is that every single one of these players that has come out, and something that we can appreciate from all coaches really that we love to see, is he's incredibly optimistic. He's incredibly encouraging for all these players. Something that I've just noticed, like all these players, even when they go in, he's still like, hey guys, you're in it, keep going. gives him like a hug, pat on the back, and he's like, you know what, you're going to go back in 2 seconds. Keep your head up. Just keep going.
That's really been something that's propelled this team to where they've been this year. It's always been a part of their identity and showing so today. Serve goes into the net. 2015. Some nice antics on the side of the Kean sideline.
McSorley to serve.
Now back to serve, Michael McSorley. 6'4" junior from Colonia, New Jersey. McSorley. Service playable. Brown look to Tolman. Other side to Canlin. Changed that call last minute. Just wide.
McSorley to serve.
Play will come to a stop yet again. 20-16 is the score. Some blood on the side of Kean. This time it's Chris Mitchell. Mitchell will be attended to and cleaned up.
This has been the most violent volleyball game we've had.
Now, luckily for us, it seems to be extremely minor.
Thankfully.
Thankfully. Let's get Mitchell cleaned up. It will, however, give an opportunity for these teams to kind of catch a breath, plan what they're going to do here for the next serve. 20-16 is the score.
Exactly, a nice little moment to kind of, a little free time out for a second.
We want to thank all of you for joining us here on Knights Broadcasting here on YouTube. The coverage of CVC and Southern Virginia men's volleyball. There's a lot of places you could be tonight with March Madness going on, so we appreciate your view here on senior night for Southern Virginia University men's volleyball. And CC Wall would have the small break in the action. Let's go ahead and look at the upcoming schedule. We'll start with the number 2 ranked team nationally, the Southern Virginia Knights. Where do they head after today?
Well, after today, they will be playing against, well, they have another game tonight against Virginia Wesleyan after this game tonight at 7. And then they actually play again tomorrow against Rutgers Newark. And it will be here, another CVC match. And then from then on, they'll be playing just more of these games, really more. They'll be able to go up to Boston, especially over this spring break this next week. Play number 11 Wentworth Institute of Technology and also Nichols College.
Big country.
Some exciting games. Again, this is a weekend full of CVC volleyball. Again, Southern Virginia taking on conference opponent Kean now. They'll play Rutgers Newark tomorrow, March 22nd at 12 o'clock p.m. And Wesleyan will play Kean tomorrow as well. The Marlins will also take on Rutgers Newark in the same day. So an exciting weekend here in Buena Vista. Jimbo Brown got a left hand to it, still alive. Had to play it back, need to get it over. Still alive. Miscommunication on how many would have been there, but it looked like they'll say Southern Virginia came over the net. The point will go to Kean. So a confusing stanza. But the score right now, Southern Virginia 21, Cougars 17. Looks like both teams are talking about that. It will be back to serve David Flores for the Cougars of Kean. And while we have this small break, let's toss it down to Mark Duffin. Mark?
Hi, yes, I just wanted to point out today, you guys were talking about the upcoming schedule for these Knights, and one of the interesting things about these Knights is that they might just be hitting their stride collectively as a team. Beginning of the season, Jimbo Brown especially was not having the best year, but he started to pick it up in the month of March. Today he has 7 kills on 7 attacks, a perfect 1,000 percentage, and so far in the month of March, he has had games with 14 kills and 13 kills. So Jimbo started off the season pretty slow, but starting to pick it up, and we're starting to see this team get better because of it, entering their stride as the season goes on.
Well, we will definitely hope that is the case for the Southern Virginia Knights, hitting their stride late in the season. Seems like they've been on their stride the entire year, haven't lost a set to anyone. But good news for Jimbo Brown as his numbers start to pick up. And the team keeps winning, and that's what you want. Point goes to Kean, and what has been a tough stretch of points for SVU in the last 3 or 4. They've been stuck at 22. Kean right behind them, only with 19, 22-19. Back to serve is Aiden Flynn. So CC definitely something to look out for, especially if tournament time comes in. It more than likely SVU will host a game. We can get some good production from Jimbo Brown and other seniors like he's doing today. Southern Virginia will be in a good spot.
Well, exactly. It's going to be interesting to see if the Knights do and when they do, how exactly these Knights, these players will put up those fights, just like you were saying, these specific seniors, how they're going to keep going, how they're going to fight to that very last minute, because once they're done, then they're done here at SVU, and that's something that they want to be able to cherish forever.
Absolutely, and they want to do their best here in this game. Speaking of doing their best here in this game, Kean in the last couple of points have snuck within 2 of Southern Virginia here in the second set. It actually forced head coach Peterson to take a timeout. He needs a minute to talk to his Southern Virginia Knights squad, and seemingly the momentum on the side of Kean, though Southern Virginia still with the lead.
Yeah, always calling those timeout kind of gets that, it breaks that little bit of that momentum, kind of reconnect, especially for your Knights, to really be like, hey guys, how are we going to adjust? What are we going to do? This is the second set. We're going to have to keep fighting against them no matter what's happening. But really, what are we going to do? What have we been learning? And how are we going to use this?
Both teams coming out of the break. Kean with some energy. Southern Virginia needs to find some answers, though they still have the lead. 22-20.
Flynn to serve.
Tolman over to Schaefer.
Christian Schaefer.
That's just good old-fashioned fun from Christian Schaefer. 23-20. Southern Virginia now back to serve. Jayden Hall. Senior getting the nod. Hall looking for point number 24. Playable. Here come the Cougars. Still alive. Hall finds Tolman. Tolman finds Schaefer. Schaefer finds point number 24.
Set point for the Knights.
Southern Virginia found their footing and now are sitting on set point for set number 2. Jayden Hall. Hall serve. And it's a service ace for Jayden Hall.
Now that right there was just some great action going between both of these teams. Really, like we were saying, there was that momentum going for Kean. Say, okay, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep getting this. We're going to maybe win this set. And then the Knights coming out of that timeout being like, okay, we're going to put a cap on that right now. We're going to get our shots, get our sets in, get our hits in.
SVU takes set number 2, commanding fashion there in the last couple of points. We'll take a break here, bring you back at the start of the third and what might be the final set here in Buena Vista. Stay tuned.
Started from the bottom, now we're here. Started from the bottom, now my whole team here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. Started from the bottom, now the whole team here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. Started from the bottom, now my whole team here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. Started from the bottom, now the whole team. Yeah, I done kept it real from the jump. Living at my mama's house, we'd argue every month. I was trying to get it on my own. Working all night, traffic on the way home, and my uncle calling me like, where you at? I gave you the keys, so you bring it right back. I just think it's funny how it goes. Now I'm on the road, $500,000 for a show, and we started from the bottom, now we're here. Started from the bottom, now my whole team. Yeah, started from the bottom, now we're here. Started from the bottom, now the whole team. Yeah, started from the bottom, now we're here.
Well, the time has come, and set number 3 is finally upon us. Southern Virginia up 2-0 over top of CBC foe
Number 3.
Kean. The Cougars put up a
With a
good
nice
fight there
lead,
in that second set.
2-0.
Southern Virginia, however, took the last 5 points in dominating fashion. Chris Fly and Cece Vance here bringing you all the action. Of course, Mark Duffin, hopefully we'll check in with him at least a couple more times before the end of today's game. And Cece, what a game it has been so far.
Yeah, this has been a wild one just to see the excitement between both of these teams, but really the fight that Kean and your SVU Knights, they've been putting against each other, because in this last set they were super close. There was so much going on, and both of these teams were both had that winning of that second set within sight. So it was just really crazy to see the action between both of these teams and what they were doing to really like advance forward.
Okay, there in that second set was really calling upon Murphy and Chris Mitchell to get it done on the offensive side. Murphy has so far today 3 kills. Mitchell 4 kills, hitting 1-8-2 on 11 attempts. For the Southern Virginia Knights, they've gone to their players they usually go to every single time. Canlin has 9 kills, Jimbo Brown 7 kills, Christian Schaefer 6 kills on the day as well. Not to mention Tyler Evans picking up 2 kills for himself and a couple of blocks for Southern Virginia as well.
Canlin back to serve.
Back to
for the
serve. One of
Knights.
those players we're used to saying his name a lot, Sam Canlin.
Bam, bam, Sam Canlin.
I think that's a point that we would also, not only to Sam, give that point to him, but also to kind of to the barn as it hit. It looked like it hit a speaker, and then a light caught the Cougars a little bit off guard.
Canlin back to serve again. This one up into the ceiling, but playable by Kean. Mitchell just puts it over. Canlin to Tolman. Tolman, look for Brown, still alive. Here comes Kean.
Jimbo Brown. Canlin to serve.
Brown puts it down. Canlin back to serve again.
It's a great dig there from Canlin, just getting into that save.
Kean into the net, point Knights. Sam Canlin back to serve.
Canlin back to serve again. Southern Virginia with a hot start here, 3-0.
That is something that we have seen throughout this entire season, is seeing how Sam Canlin, not only off of his
Timeout,
serves,
Kean.
but also of his, even just in his kills in general, the strength and power that comes behind it, and being able to receive that and just take that hit really means that you don't know where the ball's going to go. And so that's something that SVU has really used to their advantage, is the power that he has and the talent that he has.
And that talent has led Southern Virginia to a 4-0 lead here in the third set. Southern Virginia, like we've mentioned so many times throughout the year and ad nauseum today, have yet to see a fourth set the entirety of the year. When it gets to 3, Southern Virginia finishes it more than not. 4-0 is the score right now. Timeout was called on the side of Kean. Cece, we've seen a lot of the seniors today. Jayden Hall getting the clutch service ace to end set number 2. We've seen Curtis Stone come into the game a couple times. Be interested to see if we see anyone other than the seniors today. It seems like those have been head coach Peterson's main focus today.
Yeah, but it's something amazing to see that there's enough of them that he can each give them moments, kind of not necessarily put them in the spotlight, but to put them in the spotlight, give them the opportunities to show what they can do. And not only in this game, but I mean, hopefully in the next game today as well, to just really give them those moments to shine on their senior night when their families are here, there's people here supporting them. And I mean, Coach Peterson should have full confidence no matter who he's putting in. So especially as he puts in these seniors, there's no reason to doubt that anything is going to change.
Kalen to serve again. He started this set at the service line and is still there right now. Mitchell. Brown got a couple touches to it. Just over. Another kill, however, for Chris Mitchell.
Flores to serve.
Big hit by Schaefer. Kane gets their first points of set number 3 on that last one. Tolman looks to Canlon. Canlon.
Bam, bam, Sam Canlon.
CC, a part of you has to feel bad
Jimbo to serve.
for sophomore Tyler Quinn, as he was on the receiving end of that one from St. Canlon. Just not much you can do.
Yeah, we've said this multiple times in games, but would not want to be on the receiving end on any of the SVU players.
Smooth operator. Block party at the net. Jimbo to serve.
Another point for SVU. Jimbo Brown back to serve. Good hit by Pugliano. Still alive. That one falls.
Christian Schaefer.
Schaefer gets it done again on the offensive side. And the seniors for SVU putting on a show on what is their night here in Buena Vista. Brown, that one just a little bit unfortunate. Short. Southern Virginia still, however, with a commanding lead, 7-5 in set number 3.
I think they were barely hoping that that one would kind of just tip over that net, over the very edge of it, but kind of just kicked it back, kind of held it back from going over, unfortunately.
Served by Flynn, playable by Schaefer. Tolman looks to Schaefer again. Good block. Pugliano, Mitchell. Evans.
Big country.
Tyler Evans hasn't been called upon too much in today's game, but when he has, the senior has made it count.
That was a powerful kill right there. Just going straight down right into those players, right at their feet, really not being able to do anything to stop that. You just see his whole family here just going crazy, just holding up their signs. They're all so ecstatic.
Pugliano back to serve.
So that Kyler Evans sign says number 19, as if you couldn't see him either way. Evanson checks in, checks back out. Tolman. Beyond Kean. The point goes to the Knights either way. They'll say that a Cougar was in the net. Well, for another hit on today's game, we're going to toss it back down to Mark Duffin. Mark?
Thank you, Chris. Yeah, during that period of play, I was able to go talk to Sam Canlon's parents and just talk to them a little bit about the program here at SVU and how much they enjoy watching their son. As a testament to the culture and the organization of this team, when they talked about their enjoyment of watching their son, they talked a lot about the team as a whole. They said they love the unity and the effort of the team. They just really love to watch them play, and they're really excited to see SVU win the whole thing this year, the whole Division III men's volleyball tournament. We're looking forward to that. SVU currently ranked number 2, and Sam Canlon having himself a game today up to 13 points, which is the game high for anyone involved. So really looking forward to the rest of this game, to see what Sam does to finish off this game, and to see where SVU goes the rest of the season.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. That's definitely something that is so important about SVU and each of these teams, especially with volleyball, is the culture and like the care that they all have for each other and the way that these programs are run. They are run in a really beautiful way that not only strengthens the players and as a team, but as really just as a whole, just each player making them a better person and a better player.
And of course, like Mark said, Sam's parents looking forward to seeing Southern Virginia win the entire thing this year. That, of course, is the goal, and the feeling around this team and around campus is that An NCAA title has never been closer in reach than it is right now with this men's volleyball program. They are right there.
Yes, they are, and they have that in their sights. They have that. I think that is, it's a goal. It's something that they are working towards, and it's a goal that is very reachable.
Playable by Kane. Cougars able to get a hand on it. That was Canlin. Go to the other side. Still alive. Quinn, look to this side. Well, that one just came right at the hands of Brown, but a good kill from Aiden Flynn.
Murphy to serve.
Sean Murphy back to serve. Murphy. Second straight service to Justin Madsen. Big hit by Brown. Better dig on the other side by Kane. Hall. Bianchine. Look for Brown. That one's good.
Oh, Brown.
That one came off the head of a Kane, and unfortunately, a Cougar is shaken up at the end of that play. Hard to see what happened, but definitely looked like he came down just a little bit awkward, holding that right leg.
Yeah, that's something that we never love to see, especially when a player on either one of these teams goes down with a little bit of an injury or with something that isn't quite right. But that's when we all kind of hope that he gets up and he gets okay, and that he gets the attention and the care that he needs right there.
Well, shaking up on that play was freshman number 21, Nick Hazar. Hazar 6'3", 193 from Brick, New Jersey, and he's had a good game today. The freshmen have really come to play against the number 2 ranked team in the country, the Southern Virginia Knights. Nick Hazar today 1 kill, 5 attempts, hitting right around 200. Good numbers. He's an assistant on a couple of blocks as well, has Hazar.
Yeah, he's definitely a player that has been making an impact on this team. Be interesting to see what exactly, to really realize what happened there.
Get you all the information that we can when we have it, but Stacey, we talk about freshmen like Nick Hazar. We talk about Sean Murphy, another freshman getting it done for this Bez Arslani-led Cougar Canes squad. We always talk about the Southern Virginia Knights and how many seniors they have, but the Canes, or the Cougars, come into this game, not the Canes. Kane comes into this game, only 2 seniors on the roster. The freshmen and the underclassmen have really been tasked with a big thing this year, and they're right in the middle of the CVC. They've gotten it done. This is a really bright future for this Canes squad.
No, yeah, as they're young, as they're a good mix of all these players. It's really good to see like how they're gonna grow, and that'll be something interesting is over these next few years what they do as they're playing really good right now, to see how they progress and what more will happen.
Well, with Hazar coming out, we're going to see another freshman come in. This is number 18, Makai Shern, freshman from Patterson, New Jersey. Mitchell, this one playable by the Knights. Brown has to get that one over. I'll say that.
Cougars into the net. Point.
So that was a Cougar into the net. Point goes to the Knights. I'll be really interested to see what Makai Shern has in store for this game. Bianchine. That one. Back of communication on the side of the Cougars. Easy point, easy service ace for Cristo Bianchine.
All right there, that was just a nice little point right there that just happened, and they were just like, let's do it again.
Bianchine probably thinking the exact same thing, and Cougars with different ideas. This one playable. Tolman on the other side for the Knights. Kyler Evans. We'll say that Kyler Evans got under and carried that one over. Point goes to Kane, 14-7.
It's always funny to see the bench and the sideline of your Knights to really they're all just like, how'd that happen? What just happened? They're just like, that was great, but what just happened? I think that's the best part about volleyball is when it gets over the net and it hits the ground, it's a point. But it's, how did that happen? It's always just interesting to see and think about it.
And that's why sometimes we as commentators hold our breath for just a little bit after something happens, because we never know what the call exactly is going to be. Because if you were to ask me, and of course I am biased, that would have been a point for Kyler Evans, but they know better than I do. Serve coming from Canlin, that one long.
Side out to Kane. Flores back to serve.
Flores back to serve. Tolman looks this way to Brown. Block was there, but just long. 16-8.
Jimbo to serve.
Quinn able to get a hand on that one. Pugliano fight with it with Evans. Hall still alive. Madsen hits it to Tolman. Tolman all the way across to Canlin. Came across a little awkward, just have to get it over.
That one kind of just sat on top of the net and kind of just rolled across it for a second.
Strong hit by Hall, better dig by Quinn. Good rally between the two squads.
No, that was some great action between both of these teams, taking full advantage of those 3 hits that they get, just using it to pass back and forth and just going at each other hard, but it really just keeping it going.
Kill number 11 for senior Sam Canlin. Point number 17 for SVU here in this third set. 17-8 is the score. Take a look just at the stats. Up into this point, points, staunch on the side of SVU, 67-44. Kills, 40 kills tonight for the Southern Virginia Knights, 16 on the side of the Cougars of Kean.
Yeah, and even just in this third set so far, your SVU Knights, they've had 13, and Kean has had 4. I think that's kind of where there's a big gap a bit, is these kills are where that power is coming in, where those points are coming in, because like the more they have, the more that they even have those attempts, that's where this percentage is going to go up, because the more you hit at somebody, one of these times they're not going to be able to take that hit.
To Kean's credit, the one stat that they've really pulled away in this game is assisted blocks. The teamwork there up front by the young middle blockers and outside hitters. 11 blocks, 11 block assists, I should say, on the side of Kean. 0 on the side of the Southern Virginia Knights. Definitely a part of their game we'll look to see progress in future years for Kean as their players make their way back out. Still no Hazar. Went down earlier in the game holding his right foot.
He is limping around a bit on the sideline, and it looks like he just got helped by your SVU trainers, got taped up a little bit. And he's putting his shoe back on, so there's hope.
Will we see a return of Nick Hazar later this game? Only time will tell. In for Kean right now, and back to serve Aiden Flynn. He's joined on the floor by David Flores, Chris Mitchell, Trey Quinn, or Tyler Quinn rather, Pugliano, and Sean Murphy. On for the Knights, Tolman Evans, Jimbo Brown, Justin Madsen, Sam Canlin, and Jayden Hall. They'll look to Hall.
Jayden
Hall.
Big country with the assist.
That was a great hit right there. I think right at the end on the Kean side, it just barely skimmed the fingertips of one of their players, just barely skidding out.
Murphy checks out. Back into the game, Roe Danville. And Tyler Iazi into the game as well. Danville, good hit, playable. Good defensive effort on the side of Canlin and the Knights. Here comes Mitchell. Big Jimbo Brown, Tolman, look to Hall, still alive. That one.
That save right there, that dig. That, I think, was one of the closest digs I've ever seen. That was so, his hand was just barely right underneath it. It's always amazing to just see the hustle and the effort right there to get those saves. All those players, they're just making faces like, oh.
19-9, it's the score, all smiles on the side of SVU. as they have this game in hand. Sutton with a big serve. And Tolman with a big kill, 29 is the score, and SVU in control of this one.
Yeah, it looks like they did a little bit of a switch up there where they set it for Tolman, just ready for him to just hit that right down. That was a great way to boost your teammates and just work with each other.
Side out to Kane.
Service error on the side of Sutton. Sutton will come out. Curtis Stone will come out as well.
Check in for Kane, number 25.
Kyler Evans played the old
Zach
switcheroo.
McKenzie.
Evans thought he was going in, going back out. Stone still in. On for the Knights is Stone, Tolman, Brown, Hall, Canlin, and Madsen. Zach Marcheski
Bam, bam, Sam.
was the one that had the serve. First time I mentioned his name today. He'll check his way back out as Tyler Quinn comes back in. 21-10. Tolman back to serve. Daniel hit that one into the net. Another point goes for the Knights. Again, this is not the only game today. Southern Virginia, after this, have a little bit of time to rest, and will face off against the Marlins of Virginia Wesleyan directly following this game. This will be on a different window on the Knights Broadcasting YouTube channels. Hope to see you there as well.
Yeah, we always love the opportunity to have these double headers where these Knights, they get to play multiple games all in a row. And also just to see how they're going to last, how they're going to pull out in all of these games. And really just how many of these people just come out to all these games and watch to support.
Back to serve is Chris Mitchell. Kane needs to find an answer to get back into this game, or Southern Virginia's going to run away with it. Another point for SVU, 23-11. Jayden Hall back to serve. Should be mentioned, new faces in for Kane. See the return of number 18, Makai Shern. Makai Shern, just a freshman. Hall, playable. They'll look for Shern, and Shern gets a kill.
Always fun to see when we get these newer people that are starting to play, just getting those moments of action, getting those plays in. He just kind of tipped that one right over and just went in the right spot.
And CCL might have found a new favorite player other than the Southern Virginia Knights, that being number 18, Makai Shern. In his bio, he was asked, what's an essential part of your daily routine? He gave the most relatable answer I think he could give. He just said, sleeping.
Hey, I think we can all accept that one sometimes.
Match point for SVU. Curtis Stone back to serve. Stone. That one's in. Third time's a charm for Curtis Stone.
That just solidifies that for your Southern Virginia Knights right there.
SVU wins another game in 3 straight sets, remain undefeated on the year, and atop of the CVC rankings.
This was a really good game and a really good matchup to see how the Kean Cougars, they put up a good fight against your SVU Knights. They really wanted to, they had that effort, the energy. They were really coming for that win.
Leading all players today in points, it was a tie. Sam Canlin and Jimbo Brown, both with 15 points at the end of the day. How about a game for senior Jimbo Brown? 13 kills on 18 attempts, hitting an extremely impressive 72%. 4 assists for him as well today. 2 service aces, 5 digs for Jimbo Brown. What a performance by the Southern Virginia senior.
Yes, we love to see the action. We love to see also like how these players, they're all really well-rounded. They don't just do one thing, they can give it all done.
Well, Southern Virginia wins another one, stay perfect on the year. They'll have one more chance tonight to keep that record alive. We'll go ahead and end this one here. Southern Virginia takes down CVC foe, Kean College here at Southern Virginia. Next game is going to be SVU versus the Marlins of Virginia Wesleyan. Hope you tune in and see us on that one. But for this one, good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Senior Night at Knight Arena. At this time, we ask that you turn your attention to the middle of the floor as we honor our seniors from the Southern Virginia University men's volleyball team. We'll take this time to recognize 4 of our 9 seniors before honoring the remaining 5 after the second match. Our first senior is a middle blocker. Our first senior is a middle blocker from Gilbert, Arizona, number 14, Curtis Stone. Curtis is accompanied by his wife, Jessica, and his parents, Aaron and Elisa. Curtis has been with the team for 4 seasons and has appeared in over 50 matches. This season, he recorded a career high of 7 blocks against Drew, the second most in a match in program history. He also totaled 5 kills against Averett, which is a season high. Curtis is majoring in biology with a minor in athletic training. After graduation, he and his wife, Jessica, will be moving to Florida, where he will attend chiropractic school. Thank you, Curtis Stone. Next up is a setter from Mesa, Arizona, number 15, Maxim Sutton. Maxim is accompanied by his father, Jason, and his stepmother, Becca. Another 4-year member of the program, Maxim has appeared in over 60 matches for the Knights during his career and 4 NCAA tournament matches. He's totaled nearly 300 career assists and 37 service aces since his arrival, including a career high of 5 aces in a single match against Bethany last season. Maxim is majoring in biochemistry and plans to attend dental school after graduation. Big round of applause for Maxim Sutton. Next senior is an opposite from Carlisle, Pennsylvania, number 9, Bam Bam Sam Canlin. Sam is accompanied by his parents Matthew and Jenny, his sister Helen, his brother Paul, and sister-in-law Kelly. Sam first arrived at Southern Virginia in 2020 and quickly became one of the team's most dangerous attackers, racking up over 400 kills during his career. In 2021, he was named an honorable mention All-American, one of just 6 Knights to achieve All-American status in program history. Sam is majoring in business management and plans to work towards earning an MBA after graduation. Big thank you, Sam Canlin. Our next senior is an outside hitter and team captain from Mesa, Arizona, number 10, Jimbo Brown. Jimbo is accompanied by his parents, his sisters Danielle and Demarie, and Isaac Carrillo. Jeremy has been with the program for 4 years and has been a consistent figure in the starting lineup. He has totaled over 600 kills, the 4th most in program history. He has also been named a CVC All-Conference member twice and has become one of the best all-around players in the country. Jeremy is majoring in business management with a concentration in sports management. After graduation, he will attend graduate school at Springfield College, where he will also serve as a graduate assistant coach. Let's have a big round of applause for Jimbo. That concludes our first session for this evening's senior recognition. Please stick around for our next match against Virginia Wesleyan, which will be followed by the recognition of the remaining 5 seniors.